Hello and welcome to Tools, Tips, and Technology. I'm Marian, and I'm here today with Aimee.
Hey,
Hi.
Marian. Hey.
How's it going?
It is going good. I'm excited to talk about podcasting because I feel like it's really blown up, with the whole pandemic. And so I think it's exciting to give people that are interested in doing it or just wanting to kind of dip their toe in the water and do it. And there's a lot of things I've learned. I've been on so many podcasts for years. And so there's a lot of stuff that I've learned. And I know there's a lot of cool technology and tips that you also have learned. So I'm excited to dive into podcasting this morning. It's great.
Dive in. And this is a two-part series. We're going to be talking about podcasting for the next 2 weeks because, and I'm sure this will be an ongoing conversation because we literally could talk about it every week. That's how fast technology is changing and moving and expanding and all the words that mean growth, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, for those of you who don't know us yet, this is our second show of the Tools, Tips, and Technology show. We have a live stream that is live on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And then once it's over, we're going to take all that information, separate the audio out, and push it out to all the podcast platforms. Did you get how I did that?
I love it. I love it. You know what? I had to research, or not research. I knew the basic terminology of RSS feed because I've been hearing that a lot recently, right? Like in social media, Facebook's wanting to make it where RSS feed can go into your groups. If you have a podcast, you can put it in there, which was cool. And I was like, I get what an RSS feed. It's, a way for me to listen to your podcast without going to your website. I don't have to go exactly to Tools, Tips, and Technology to listen to it or hear it or get new episodes. It notifies you wherever we stream on those podcasting platforms. And so when I was diving into it the other day, Marian, I was just fascinated because I was like, man, I didn't even realize that I did that. Like I just jump onto Apple or, Spotify, Pandora, wherever to listen to podcasts. And I was like, that's because of the RSS feed. I don't have to go to their website. So
well, I think it's funny because they call it RSS. It stands for Really Simple Syndicate. Believe me, honey, it is not simple. Okay, don't ask me where they came up with that name. Nobody really understands it. Even Aimee had to go and research it, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know it stood for that. I just knew RSS, so I've learned something already. I'm just saying it's not simple, though. No. Oh, goodness. Why would they label it something simple? It's complex. But there's different avenues out there that have helped, like Anchor FM has helped, and it's free where you can upload your podcast that you record. So, a lot of people are familiar with Zoom, like we're using StreamYard to come video and, audio kind of preference. But if you recorded it on Zoom and made your tweaks and edits to it, Zoom actually separates the audio and video files, which is pretty cool that it does that. And it makes it smooth sailing when you upload it to Anchor because they already have the built-in integrations, I guess, or connections with, like Apple and Spotify and Pandora and iHeart. So it's just one-stop destination, which is pretty cool. You don't have to manually go and do it, that would take forever. So
okay, so let's break this down a little bit. Now, I know we have audience members. I can see them. They're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and I know you're out there and you have questions about podcasting. So start putting your questions in there or telling us an experience you might have had with it. Let us know your favorite podcast. Might be ours. I don't know. We just started. So, hey, we would love to hear it. Also, I want to roll it back to the beginning. So when podcasting first came out, the reason why they called it that was because of the Apple company. Okay, so they had iPads, iPods, right? Pod, pad, whatever. It had to do with that. So podcasting was really tied. It was kind of like the Kleenex brand. Everybody knows that's a tissue. Well, we call it a clean. Hey, hand me a Kleenex. It's the same thing. And for a while, the gurus said maybe we should change the name to radio. Internet radio, they were going to call it. And some people latched onto that word radio, internet radio, radio show. And the pushback was, it's not really radio, people. Radio is a station somewhere that only goes out so far. Podcasting goes everywhere because it's on the internet. So for those of you who don't know the history of a podcast, don't really understand what it is, I remember one of the first times they told me, did you know that when you buy a brand new car, they're going to actually have the podcast come through your car? And I was like, really? Whoa, that's cool. You know?
Yeah.
and a little bit that's true. So you still have to have a device that brings that RSS feed in, right, Aimee?
Yes.
So I use my phone through my computer speakers. It's not really coming into the to the car. So it's confusing, but if you stay with us, I know you're going to understand at the end and love podcasting. Yes. One other thing before you take off, Aimee. I know she wants to take off, so I got to get this in quick.
No, you're good.
When I first started learning about podcasting, I thought, oh, this is really great. You know, I'm going to be able to walk my dog. I'm going to be able to do the laundry. I'm going to be able to drive down the road, and I'm going to be able to listen to some podcasts. So I started listening to some people that I was fascinated with. One of them was a guy who called his podcast an internet radio show. And I thought, okay, I wonder where this is going to go. I wonder how this is going to happen. And I learned from Aimee that it's no longer even talked about. It is now called, Aimee?
Podcasting.
No, a show. I mean, you remember you said everything is a podcast now, even video.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want you to tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm not familiar with that. I always thought podcast was audio and video was video.
No. Okay. So.
See, you're going to teach us something here.
Well, hopefully I teach you something. I would say, so I started off podcasting on Author Talk with Sandy Lawrence, which Marian, you know, we started that 5 years ago. And I used to have to drive downtown Houston to record it on Zoom or on our phone, edit it, and put it up on YouTube. But it was still a podcast because people visually wanted to see it, and I could separate the audio and put it, out where people could listen to it. I think now with the ever-changing world of technology and how more and more popular video is, people want to see the conversation. Like, I talk a lot with my hands. I'm holding myself in, but I talk a lot with my hands. I'm very animated. You don't always get that from my tone of voice unless I get really excited. But then my mic goes crazy and it's just a hot mess, okay? But people want to see that, and it brings like a sense of, realism is a lack of a better word, but people can relate because they can see the emotion, they can see the excitement, and you build more trust when someone can see you having the conversation than just over, the airways, I guess is the better way to say it. But it's merged into one, because even if I'm on Facebook and I'm watching us talking, like I'm doing now and commenting and stuff, if I want to go and do something, it minimizes in the corner. I can still listen and be on other browsers. So it's not really taking anything away from it. It's just adding a visual aspect, which people want. And so that's kind of when it merged. So I would say it probably merged 4 or 5 years ago. But
wow, now I'm behind 4 or 5 years. Did you hear that? I heard that. That's not good. Okay. No,
it's
just, I saw it happening. I just didn't know what they were talking about. Yeah. I didn't understand. So thank you for explaining that. Hey, we have some audience members who are talking. Ooh. Hold on. We've got a couple here. Lady Lou.
Hey, Lady Lou.
Hi, Marian and Aimee. I'm watching and learning from you too. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Lady Lou, we miss you. And we have, Susie Fogerson. Hey, Susie. She says, I want to learn more so I can do podcasts. Love this info.
I love it. Susie, what kind of podcast are you wanting to start?
Hey, there you
That would be
go.
that would be cool.
Now, I
And
know Susie, and she is into health and wellness. And
oh,
she's
that would be perfect.
103. Doesn't she look good?
What? No way. Oh my gosh. Susie, look at you go. I love it. I love to
Oh,
hear that. But I think um it's just visual. I mean, Marian, if you were listening to someone like, I've mentioned it before, but Delilah that I used to listen to on the radio and I still do. If I could watch her, I mean, it's just soothing for me, and to like put a face to her voice would be awesome for me. But I think it
yes.
just adds a personal element to your podcast, and that's what people are wanting, and that's more and more of the trend of what things are going. That's why they've kind of merged. So as far as I've learned podcasts, I've always been able to watch them and engage, and I can listen to them in the car too, because they're on all the other ones, all the other podcasting platforms that I can sync up with my Bluetooth in my car and listen. So I'm hands free. I'm not, dangerous to anyone, but I can do that. Or if I'm at my computer, I can watch it and listen and engage. I'm more likely to feel comfortable engaging with a video one than just an audio one, because you don't really feel like your feedback.
Right.
You're more talking to yourself in the car. I don't know if anyone else does that when they listen to podcasts in the car, but I do. And then I'm at a red light and people look at me like I'm crazy. Maybe not so much anymore, because now you can talk on your
Right.
phone and stuff,
Right.
but
Yeah. You can
you
just
know,
be talking away, and people are like, oh, she must have an earbud in.
yeah,
Hey, I
absolutely.
want to talk about something here. Now, we've got some more audience members. Now, this gentleman, this is Steve Baker. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Steve, he handles Medicare. Anybody that needs to talk about Medicare, this is the guy. You can go to Baker Seniors, or as you can tell, what I really want to talk about is he's listening/watching us from Facebook.
Nice.
And Susie Fogerson is watching from YouTube. And you might also be watching on LinkedIn. Now, that's not the only platforms that we can be publishing on. Isn't that correct, Aimee? You want to
Right.
go into that a little bit? Now, remember, everything we're talking about, we take the audio out and push it to the podcast platforms later. Okay.
Right.
It's not live on the podcast, it's live on these things that Amy's going to talk about.
Yeah, so with StreamYard or with Zoom, you can do one platform at a time. But with StreamYard, which is what Marian and I are using, we can live stream to multiple social media channels at the same time. Now, there is, a free version and there's a paid version, and the paid version is the more channels that you can, live stream with. So when I use StreamYard, I go to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch, which if you aren't familiar with Twitch back in the day used to be a big gaming video platform. They were doing videos kind of around the same time that YouTube was. They're both pretty big, but for different things. So if you're a big gamer, you like watching gaming competitions, that's what Twitch was known for. Well, Twitch has opened up and broadened its horizons to more businesses and podcasting and different avenues. So I work with authors, so a lot of authors that do fantasy, sci-fi, gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, they do all of their book launches and their lives and stuff on Twitch, which we can use StreamYard to live stream onto that platform and onto other ones at the same time. So that way we're not having to only go onto Facebook and go live, copy, download that video and re-upload it to all of these platforms. Everybody can be watching live, and we can manage the conversation and the comments that come in from any of these platforms that we are live in our comment section, and that's how we can bring them up onto the screen. So that's adding an extra element of engagement with you guys. So we can answer your questions live in real time, get you the information that you need, and it's not delayed. So that's kind of one of the beauties of technology that I absolutely love, is it's no longer just streaming to one platform. We can go all over the place as long as they allow us to do that, which is the beauty of it. And that's kind of what Anchor does on the audio platform base of it. So we use Anchor. I use it for all of my other podcasts that I'm on. Marian uses it for her podcasting that she's on, and for tools, tips, and technology. And we upload the audio file with our graphic. Our intro graphic that you guys saw at the beginning goes up there, and that pushes the RSS feed and the audio out to all of the listening platforms, like we were talking, Apple, Android, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. I don't know if it's at Amazon Music, but they also have a podcasting section. So I'm sure at some point they will integrate. But it has built those relationships and integrations for us. So we only have to do one step and then they do the rest of it. So it's a one-stop destination in terms of audio that makes it very easy and convenient, and it's very user-friendly. So it's not something to overcomplicate and deter you from doing a podcast. It should encourage you to do that, because also from Anchor, if at some point you want your podcast to get bigger and you want to make money from your podcast and have, ads and sponsors and stuff, Anchor allows you to do that, to push your podcast out there to get sponsors and to have many commercials and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of different opportunities the further we dive into podcasting that you can do. So it's just awesome. Technology is a blessing and a curse. And right now it's a blessing for podcasters, and we are here for it. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I do too. I really do. I'm madly in love with technology. Now, that does not mean I don't get frustrated, okay? It does not mean I don't get frustrated. As a matter of fact, we were talking about that this morning. I'm like, nothing ever seems like it goes like it's simple. It's like, there's always something. You think you're going to go and you're going to do something, and it's like, wait a minute. There's a little glitch. And I think part of that is because like let's take our phone, for example. Yes, you can listen to your podcast on the phone. And yes, you can watch videos from YouTube on your phone. And yes, you can talk to people and yes, you can go to the moon with your phone. It's like, so yeah, all these different aspects are doing the same thing in this one device. And so I think they're all different people that are developing this software that goes into that. And so sometimes I think it kind of messes with each other.
Oh,
yeah. Not on purpose, right?
No, of course not. Not on purpose, but no, definitely. I mean, I'm experiencing that with my phone at the moment. I can't get my email notifications to pop up on my phone anymore. My daughter did something to my phone. I can't figure out what it is. So I have to, manually check my email, I'm not complaining about it. But as someone that's used to getting notifications for all my emails, it's kind of a bummer that I can't do that. I have to manually check it, But to answer Susie's question, yes, Susie. So those would be the two that I would start with for your podcast and get familiar with. Anchor is free to use, so I would highly recommend that. I'm an advocate for free or super cheap to start out with. I don't believe in spending a whole lot of money on a bunch of stuff. So I will always
I want to dive into that a little bit, because the podcast platform Anchor is free, okay? Yeah. But StreamYard has a free version, okay? Yes. And then they put their logo up at the top on the right-hand side.
Right.
Their little logo will go right there.
And I think you can only stream to one platform, right? On the free version? Or
probably.
Is it two?
I really don't know.
It's one of those. I know it's like, schedulers and stuff, but that's for social media. But I know on the free version of StreamYard, I think it's only one or two platforms that you can stream to at the same time. And then if you want to do more than that, then they have you pay for it. I know.
That little duck up there.
It is a cute icon, though. I mean, it is really cute.
If you can deal with that, it's free. StreamYard is free, okay? And then you can upgrade if you feel like, you're really doing it, right?
And I will say I upgraded because I do to 3 to 4 platforms. So I have a paid version of it. And I will say the yearly one was cheaper than to do monthly. Yes. But it's a commitment. Like if you're really serious about doing a podcast and you want to use StreamYard so you can multi-stream and do all this, then it's kind of one of those things. It's an investment and it's a commitment. So you need to kind of stick with it. And that also kind of brings me, Marian, me and you are very good at doing this, but you have to be, you have to train your audience when to hear you. It's a lack of a better word. Consistent. There's my word. It's a Tuesday, people.
I thought it was Monday, so okay.
I know. I'm telling you, it feels like a Monday. But you have to be consistent when you go on. Like me and Marian are planning on going on Tuesday at 10 a.m. every Tuesday, unless something happens or we take a break or whatever. We are committed to Tuesdays at 10 a.m. And so you train your audience when to expect to hear from you and when they can tune in. And so if you're doing it, Tuesdays at 10 and the next week is Wednesday at 5, it's really inconsistent and it's hard to gain traction on your viewership or your listener base because they don't really know when to hear you. And when you're coming on, like, yeah, they can get notified and stuff, but they can go back and re-listen to it, but you want people to listen to you live in time and to tune in, and you want to have those followers that keep coming back and engaging with you. That's how you kind of know that your podcast is gaining traction. Not so much, numbers and stuff are important, but you want to have those people that keep coming back and engaging with you and are excited and share your video or tell people about your podcast. And the way to do that is by being consistent. So you have to find a time that works for you and that works with your audience. And sometimes you have to play around with that. I have one that goes on Mondays at 10. I got Marian at 10. And then I have one that we're still in the transition of finding a good time. And one that's just strictly recorded, because they can't go live. So you have to do what works best for you, but what also your audience wants and the time that works for them. And that gets into different, tools and stuff. That's diving a little bit deeper than we are right now. But
I like talking about this though.
Yeah.
And I would really like to hone in on something that Susie said. So StreamYard and podcasting, Anchor, those are two platforms. Think about this. Now, I had a client just yesterday who got very upset. She was very upset because she's getting different opinions about what she should do and how she should do it.
Right.
Think about this now. If you strictly did a podcast, they can't see you. Okay? You're only audio. If you go to Anchor and you do a podcast, that's fine. That's going to be your audience. Only people that can hear you. If you start with video, like what we're doing, now we've got this video and the audio is easy to take it off and put it up onto a podcast platform. Doesn't have to be Anchor, right? So now you have two different audience members. Some like to watch you, some like to listen to you. Now here's another one. Now you can take that audio out of the video and turn it into a blog post.
Oh my gosh, Marian. Yes, that's where I was like, I hope Marian's going to go here to repurposing content. Yes.
Yes. So starting with video, it solves most of your problems.
Yeah.
Now, not all of them. Of course, you notice I shoved that most word in there. Because what Aimee and I are doing here is very important. Most people don't want to get in front of a video camera and talk like a talking head. They want someone to bounce ideas off of and talk. And if you can get two people who will let you talk, like, I'm not going to let you talk anymore, Aimee. Sorry, I'm going to take over here. You got to have a synergy with somebody, right?
Yeah, that's really important.
I think it is, because most people just get really nervous when the camera light goes on.
Yeah, especially if you're not used to being in video, the nerves set in. Like I've said, me and Marian have been doing this for a really long time. I've been doing it for 5 years, and Marian's been doing it for 5, if not maybe, I think 5. I don't know, Marian, I don't know how long. I know you've been doing it a long time. But the nerves set in at the beginning and you get all nervous, and it's new and it's different, and it's good to, I guess the best way to say it, Marian, and then I'll let you finish. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you didn't.
Is you have to have that relationship with someone and the chemistry where it comes off, and it's a fun show and people want to listen to you because it's not fighting for talking air or there's tension or something, or it's always bantering or whatever. Sometimes bantering is good and having differences of opinion is good and stuff, but you want to have that relationship that kind of comes across on the show. It makes for a better show, I would say. Now, not to say that people can't do a show themselves and have guests comes on every now and then. You can totally do that if you have enough content to talk about. I would say the length of a podcast, some of them vary, but I would say like the ones to really keep people's attention and stuff are 25 to 30 minutes long, maybe a little over, but after that people kind of, their attention goes away, they have to switch gears and to go to something else. So an hour long is a little much when you could stretch it, but you want to kind of hit that sweet spot of people's attention, but you want to have, it needs to be entertaining and full of information at the same time. And that's where, like Marian said, having someone to bounce it off with and have the humor, and you guys have the rapport and stuff together is important in a show. I would say I highly recommend that. All of my shows have other people, and it makes it fun because life happens. Life happens. Marian has dogs that could potentially go off in the background. I have kids that, who knows, I have to lock my door now, and who knows what kind of mood they're in, so life happens. So it's always good to be able to mute yourself and know that the other person knows what's going on and can handle the conversation until things calm down.
We had that conversation this morning. If my dogs start barking, I'm going to put myself on mute. Hey, I wanted to point out that, hi, Jody.
Hi.
Jody is watching us from LinkedIn. You see where this is going? Okay. So this one piece of software can push this podcast out to many different places.
It's a wonderful one.
Isn't it wonderful? I love your picture, Jody. That is so awesome. You go, girl. Yeah. So Jody is having a blast too. She's got some great clients, and she's really. We were talking this morning a little bit about different things that were going on with trying to get the right client. So Aimee takes clients on. I take clients on. Jody takes clients on. I know Susie takes clients on. Everybody that was in the show today that you saw on the bottom, they love to help people. That's what it's all about, helping people. And so one of the things we're going to talk about next week, because we have about 4 minutes left of this show, next week we're going to talk about making money with your podcast. That'll be fun.
Yes, that's always fun.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about for next week?
No. So next week it's going to be we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the potential that you have to make money with your podcast, different ways of gaining traction and visibility within it. If you decide to do the video route, we'll also dive in on how you can do the audio route and get sponsors and get paid in avenues of that way. And we're here to answer any questions that you guys have along the way that we can get answered while we're live. But we are just super excited. Podcasting is a subject that I love, and it's near and dear to my heart, and I know it is for Marian too. And so we're just super excited. And then I will say, and I don't know, we can end it here or whatever, but podcasting is wonderful for small businesses and entrepreneurs. It is amazing because it gets you your expertise out there, or your product, whatever your business is. It gets you talking about it with people and out there and familiar, and people can share it, and it will help in the long run with your businesses. So I'm a huge advocate for it. I stand by it, and it's only getting popular. So we should all either jump on the bandwagon or just keep listening to podcasts. Either one is good. So me and Marian can help you with both. So either one works. But podcasting is near and dear to my heart. So I'm just excited for next week. I wish it was Tuesday next week. It'd be great.
Well, we got a lot of people in the comment section here telling us that we're doing a great job and they love our show. They're going to tune in every week. That's awesome. Occasionally we are going to have guests on. Occasionally we're going to have like a guru or somebody that can teach not just us, but you. And that'll be fun too. I have one guest who we want to try to get on that's a TikTok expert. And he is killing it. And he's got tools and tips that are just coming out from every corner. I just love it. One of the things that I really wanted to say before we end is thank you, Aimee. Thank you so much for taking a chance and hanging out with me every Tuesday, because it is a commitment, and I appreciate you so much. I really do.
Marian, anytime. I love you anytime.
And thank you to our audience. We love you, and we want to hear from you. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you want us to cover something special, just let us know, because we like to dive into those tools, tips, and technology, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right. Well, we'll see you again next week. We'll be here every Tuesday. You can listen to our podcast after the show is over. It'll be uploaded to Anchor, but you can go to toolstipsandtechnology.com, or you can go to Natural Curiosity. And Natural Curiosity has a brand new newsletter that's coming out very soon. So be sure and go over there, sign up for the newsletter, listen to our podcast, and share it with your friends.
Yes. Absolutely. But
All right.
I'm excited. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.